What if I decided to beat Dark Souls only leveling up the strength stat, but I used the heaviest build possible? What does that even mean? Well, full Havel's armor with the Great Shield and Smough's hammer is the heaviest items in the game that you can hold on every slot all at once. Rings don't have weight in Dark Souls 1, so those have some freedom. But instead of starting the game with these items, I'm using a fresh character and making myself super heavy along the way until we get to the point where the character is literally not able to run, roll, backstep, or even walk fast. This is literally the speed of the movement, with attacking and parrying as additions. Another rule is that if I have all the heaviest in-slot items on the character, I can still use other items, but I need to have them on as secondary slots. So for example, equipping a smaller shield while having Havel's shield on so I can still parry is fine. I'm also allowing myself to unequip my weapon once I reach overweight status if I want to run through areas passively, but as soon as I want to attack an enemy, I have to put that weapon back on, which would be the Smough's hammer, making myself super slow again. This won't be applicable when I'm not in the super heavy mode, but it'll definitely be relevant later on. I also won't be parrying Gwyn, so don't worry. Let's see if I can kill all the bosses plus the DLC with the heaviest strength-only build possible. Before we get started, please make sure you're subscribed. I've actually noticed YouTube unsubscribed me from many of my favorite channels lately, and I've heard the same from other people, so if you were previously subbed but aren't anymore, make sure you click that sub button again. Make sure the notification bell is also highlighted to on so you can see all my recent content, and let's get started. So it's a no-brainer that we make the character's name massive, because that's what we're going to become on this run. So going with the Knight class, just due to the fact that the Knight starts with the heaviest equip load there is out of all the characters, making him fat roll by default. This is very important. Master Key as the starting gift to be able to route the run properly, and the physique has to be very large. As far as the character's appearance, we went with Delta Farmer, curly hair, and I think we're ready to start this off. So right away, we're gonna just do the basics to get out of Asylum and make our way over to Oscar. Picking up the broadsword, but you'll notice actually, even though we have the straight sword hilt from the beginning, I'm gonna still throw that on the offhand to make our character a little bit heavier. Asylum Demon is business as usual, at least at this point. Even though we have the fat roll, we don't have to roll to kill him, we can strafe and just go behind him. So very simple here. This is actually where, again, the easiest part of the game is going to reside. As it gets harder, you'll see the struggle continue to increase. Once we get to Firelink, the setup is pretty basic, just grabbing all of the items we need, though there is a bit of a twist. So after grabbing the Humanity and the Fire Bombs that we need, we're gonna have the Morning Star, the Talisman, the Homeward Bones, and the Lloyd's Talismans, of course. But I'm actually gonna equip the Morning Star. Morning Star actually, it's weighing us down a little bit more, so why not? And we're changing out that broadsword for the Zweihander as soon as I possibly can. Let's also pick up the binoculars, why not? As I was saying before, Morningstar is equipped now in the offhand slot to give us more equip weight. The Winged Spear was thrown on as well, and the Zweihander is switched for the broadsword, making us even heavier than before. Now, since I can't use the Zweihander right away, I'm gonna have to get the stats for it, so we're picking up souls on the way through Valley of Drakes. And once we get to the bonfire in the Basin, we can pop the rest of our souls, touch down to actually light the bonfire, and then we got to go and kill Donald. So with 19 strength, this should be the perfect amount to be able to wield the Zweihander normally, at least with two hands. And with Donald, this time, instead of just launching him off of the cliff, why not just fight him? Well, that didn't take as many parries as the starting weapon would have, so Zweihander's a little bit better. Picking up the Grasscrest shield, of course. Let's check the weight on that. So we have the exact equal weight to the tower shield that we started with, meaning that if I switch to the Grasscrest shield, doesn't change anything for our equip load. Smooth sailing there. Gonna get the stamina bonus from that and still keep 3 pounds. I tried to go to Havel to get his ring, and that's what happened the first time. So we're gonna retrieve our soul, go back, see if we can actually kill Havel this time. And despite me destroying Havel in so many different runs, people might think I'm amazing at parrying him. I do pretty well, but we do die still, and this is a very good example of that. One thing I think that's pretty important in this run is to include all the combat situations that could be a little bit more technical, so boss fights, and even some of the mini enemies that are a little bit more challenging. I did leave all the footage uncut for you guys to see it. Kind of a mix of a more aggressive edit and something that has more action in it as well. If you guys like to have the cuts in between fights and all that, let me know and I'll start going back to throwing that into some of the videos, but I personally prefer seeing all the details when I'm fighting different things. That scary moment where I missed the parry and I have to bail. Oh man, that was last second. But hey, the fat roll did save me. It still has some frames. It's not as good as the regular roll. It'll have to do though. So now we have Havel's ring. In Dark Souls 1, rings don't have equip load as I mentioned in the beginning. So it doesn't matter what we equip for them, but I would say that Havel's ring is important right now, since we're going to be accumulating a lot of equip load as we go very quickly in the early game, and it will get to the point where we are literally just not able to move much at all. Why not prolong the period where we have some flexibility? Yeah, that's how getting to the Hydra went the first time. Luckily, I finally made it into the water. After cutting off some of the Hydra's heads and trotting through the water, a guest appeared and tried to challenge me to a duel. It was kind of weird actually, because the crystal guys don't come towards you and fight you in the water unless it's pretty immediate, so you'll see them running in the distance right away. I'd already fought off all the other crystal guys, and this guy just randomly came in way later on for some reason. I don't know how I triggered him from across the entire basin, but he was not giving up. He was super persistent, so we had to now take out the Hydra and him at the same time. If I use my movement correctly, the Hydra should do the work for us, but we have to make sure that those missiles hit him instead of us. So it's kind of sketchy to try to go for any attacks right now as he's running behind us. Hopefully there's an opportunity soon. After quite a long time of trying to actually aim the jump attacks, we finally got the Hydra on the chinny chin. Got the Dusk Ring, which is of no use, and a Dragon Scale. The Dragon Scale will be useful later, and I'll explain that once we get to the situation where it comes into play. But now Golden Golem is the next point of interest, as we are doing DLC on this run, so why not set it up while we're in the same area? Since the Zweihander is a fairly heavy weapon, being an Ultra Great Sword, you can stagger this Golem, but you have to pivot to make him actually search for you every single time he tries to re-queue an attack. So with a little bit of that in between the back and forth combat, there'll be way less total engagements with him overall. And this is your only advantage, being that you're in such deep water that you cannot move that fast at all. And we're already pretty slow. With Dusk being free, on the way back, I was like, hey, you know, we could go to the Forest Covenant from the big ladder. I don't think I've actually ever done this in a run that you guys have seen before, so this is a little bit new. But through that big ladder and then running backward to the forest, we joined the Forest Covenant to get the establishment with the actual people and then make Shiva pop up as one of them. And if you talk to Shiva, he'll appear later on in Blight Town as his quest line allows him to. The ninja guy is not of interest yet, so we're not going to grab the Darkwood Grain Ring at all, but I have a plan for him later. In the meantime, we're going to go and get the stone armor that's right below where Shiva appears. And now we're even heavier, but we still have some better defense at least. Grabbing the bow for later, and killing this crystal lizard to see if we can get some twinkling titanite as well. So 2 of them's pretty damn good. Not going to complain about that. At Andre, we need the weaponsmith box, and I'm going to light the bonfire above him and save the souls in the inventory for something quite special once we get to Blight Town. In the meantime, the Ultra Heavyweight Championship is actually on TV, so I decided to turn it on for a second. Wow, Titanite Shard for the prize pool is pretty bad. So we're going to grab Firekeeper Soul, take the lift back down to Firelink, and Crestfallen's pissing me off as usual. I just don't really like him in the scenery, so time to actually beat him and not let him even get close to killing us. I mean, he doesn't really have a chance even if he did hit me. I am pretty stacked with defense right now. But it's never been better pancaking NPCs. That overhead with the Zweihander is lethal. Since I do have the Firekeeper Soul, but I don't care about using it for the shortcut, I'm turning it into an upgrade for the Estus Flask before going to Blight Town. And as we make our way down, you might wonder exactly what am I going to be doing with those 12,000 souls? Well, like I mentioned before, our buddy Shiva's questline allows him to appear over here later on, and if you guys have played the game enough, you've done his questline, you might know that he's got some pretty cool items. So one of the ways I kind of routed the logic of this build and of this challenge is that we're going to be going for the heaviest items we can, and he does carry a pretty heavy weapon, for now at least. This doesn't mean that I have to go and challenge Quelaag right away. I'm actually going to go and do Gargoyles because we were already in that area previously, but I want to pick up an even heavier weapon at 22 pounds, or 22 weight units we could say, because I'm sure it weighs way more than 22 pounds in real life. Gonna get Look Skyward from him after grabbing the Demon Great Axe, of course, and now we need the stats to be able to use the Demon Great Axe. After watching my character roast his toes over the bonfire and just look absolutely weird, leveling up to 20 strength, and then we are going to go human so Maneater Mildred can invade me. She's gonna give us an extra surplus of souls early as well, and she's very simple to kill. You just parry the running attack, or even with the Zweihander and the two-hand attack, it'll stagger her, stopping her from doing her next movement. So you can kind of subdue her, lock her in place, if Tito the Mosquito and his cousin Carlito don't get you first. Make sure to swat the flies with the Ultra Great Hammer for overkill, and you get some extra humanity too, so why not? Butcher Knife is something I was looking at for a second thinking, hey, 10 pounds, but it's too light. So we're gonna go 27 strength, and I'm gonna start to now make a move back out of Blight Town to go back to the previous area where we can challenge the earlier boss Gargoyles with an even heavier weapon than anything in that whole part of the game. Before we move on to doing this, the Ring of Sacrifice is of interest because I am carrying some extra souls. I have an extra ring slot as well. Until I get something better to fulfill it that can actually be used at full capacity, I might as well get a Ring of Sacrifice, why not? So, just grabbed it. It's not a bad idea. Gonna go and get the Undead Berg bonfire. A little weird, I know. And obviously, blue Tearstone rings right beside it if you do that gangster jump that most people might not even know you can do, but if you rebound off the wall from that bridge and get a very quick lineup with the dash, you can jump right to the Black Knight and skip all of Undead Berg to the lower part and make it right to the staircase where the fire barrel comes down. So this Black Knight doesn't really have anything we need, but might as well kill him for extra souls too. Since we're already really close to Taurus Demon, we're going to grab the Pine Resins right before his Fog Gate, and then I am just going to challenge him, even though Gargoyles is the first major boss we have to kill to progress the game. It just makes more sense for the routing to go this way. And there's a Crystal Lizard right before his door, too, for another 2 Twinkling Titanite. Clearing out the crossbow guys on the tower is a must. I don't want arrows hitting me in the back of the head. That's embarrassing. And because we did clear out the tower, might as well go old school and actually plunge attack Taurus Demon. It's been a long time. I've usually fought him on the bridge with just absurd amounts of damage later on, or done other methods that are unsavory, so this is one of the more likely methods that you'd probably be doing. Still does most of his health with one attack right there if you do the R2 jumping attack for the plunge. And because I'm just ridiculously poise heavy, I can take a hit from him on the ladder, not lose all of my endurance, and keep climbing to go into a second one, embarrassing him. Goodbye, Taurus Demon. Was nice knowing you. Must feel like he was in a WWE match with just that elbow from top rope 2 times in a row, knowing there's nothing he can do because in his script, they just screwed his character over. I wanted to kill Solaire as well. I don't know what compelled me to do this. These things happen sometimes where I go on rampages and kill NPCs. He almost got that lightning bolt out. Now, his shield that he drops, the sunlight shield, is a little heavier than what we're using now, which means because we did pick it up, we do have to use it. So 4 pounds, got to switch that for grass crest. Now I did have a rule that I mentioned in the beginning saying that if there's a heavier in-slot item, obviously I got to use that for the build, but I can always use a lighter item as well on the offhand slot as long as both of them are equipped. So making that total number an even greater weight load, but being able to still have flexibility switching through items to make this run more fun. 30 strength now, and now we're going down the Undead Merchant back alleyway to do the alternate Capra skip from the rooftop. Man, that's crazy that he didn't just topple over. What is balance in this game, man? His foot was hanging off. He would have fallen. Also, I'm pretty camouflaged right now. Look at that. Same color as the wall. Was that intended? Anyways, jumping down to the lower level. Our defense load, our equip load, poise, the weapons, you know, everything's really good for being at this point in the game. So dropping in over here is fairly safe compared to how it would normally be early on with a basic character class. I should be able to handle everybody, even the thieves, all at once. Look at this. Line them up and knock them down. Zweihander really is a good early game weapon if you guys want to use it, and you don't have to put many upgrades into it to make it far. Obviously, it falls behind later on, but it really is carrying us right here. After clearing out the alley, I was thinking of getting the shortcut, but that's for babies, man. We can kill Capra Demon right now. I'm feeling mighty. I mean, the character's name is massive. We got to make a huge play and just go right for it all together. One big linear chunk. So swerving Capra Demon, somehow swerving the dogs. That was very smooth, actually. I did not intend for that to be that smooth, but it happened, though. Overhead on the dog while bonking off the wall. Dog number 1 down. Dog number 2 direct hit. Capra Demon goes for his swing from the corner, but he doesn't have enough time to connect it. He falls on me. Doesn't do any damage, and now we're already getting him into a little bit of a stagger and a counter hit as he jumps away. He misses his swings. We're using a lot of spacing and then just swinging right into the radius, but I miss. He hits me, and it doesn't really do anything because we have so much defense. So throwing in a running attack over there, getting another stagger, and we're really just playing this game of back and forth, trying to skirt the outside of his range, make him attack without having to use any stamina on our behalf at all, just by spacing and then going in with those big running attacks for counters. And he jumps away a lot. He's scared. You can tell he's a little bit more nervous than normal, too. Bye-bye, Capra Demon. One of the easiest and smoothest Capra Demons I've done in a long time this early into the actual run. Not bad at all. But with a little preparation, you can do it. We're going to get the shortcut now, backwards from the Undead Merchant that I was debating earlier, and then go and get 31 strength at Firelink. That shortcut will be useful in a little bit. But for now, we have enough strength for Demon's Great Axe two-handed, which again was the 22-pound weapon, making our total equip load 71.5. Crazy. We're still fat rolling, we're not quite maxed out, and I really wanted to kill the clerics, but it's just not the right time right now. You can see the hesitation. I'm just like, ugh, Petrus, please, give me a reason to kill you. I left him alone. Back to Andre. Now we're going to go and get the Demon Great Axe upgraded a little bit. All I could manage at the moment was +2. And to get some more souls to get our budget up for upgrades even more, let's challenge the Titanite Demon and see how mighty we are against him. So this is just the full fight. Running in there, trying to get a little bit of a pocket where he can't destroy me all in one combo or even grab me. Misses the grab by a little bit, which is kind of sketchy actually, because later on you're going to see how bad that grab really is. I really wanted to hit the heavy attack with the R2 as well. Just wasn't working out too well. I keep going for it. Get that 308 damage, not bad. Doesn't stagger him at all. And normally on a character with a lighter amount of armor, I probably would be dead already or very close to, especially because, again, we're only leveling strength on this run. There's no stats touched other than strength. It's a bit of a combo between two different challenges at once that we're doing, of course. And basically, time is on our side if we move quickly. So with a bunch of gigantic crushing attacks from Demon Great Axe, we get him in that little combo at the end, get a Demon Titanite, which will be actually very important as well. We got some extra Titanite for the regular Demon Great Axe. And now we have +3 and we're going to Gargoyles. The upper church was pretty nice to me, even though the hollows got buffed by the Chandler. And I'm going to use a buff myself with that gold pine resin that we stole from the Undead Burg. Let's see how Gargoyles go. Missing that giant attack right away again, but I'm determined I'm gonna land one on him. I keep just going for it randomly, not trying to line this up too well. All right, there's one regular attack. Let's see the big attack. Boom, 2-shot. Crazy, man. I really wonder how much that would have done if we just hit him straight. Just by itself with that first R2, what would have happened? So that's another R1, and then I just finish him with a second light attack because he doesn't have much health left anyways, doesn't matter. Super quick Gargoyles. I could have played that even better too. Amazing. And you can see the Demon Great Axe is a force to be reckoned with early game. Technically, even later on in the game, it's one of the strongest weapons in general. It just takes a long time to upgrade because it is regular Titanite. We got the bell rung, and now we can say hi to Oswald. You know, I have some Homeward Bones, and I have access to Unlimited from the Undead Merchant anyway, so I don't need him for anything. Let's kill him. Goodbye. A fresh Oswald pancake served up hot and ready. And some Twin Humanities as well for dessert. So we're going to get some more regular Titanite and just inch this Demon Great Axe to the +5 threshold. Now we're going to need the Large Ember to ascend it even further, but will it see much more action beyond +5? That's to be seen still. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to stick with it. We might as well pancake Lautrec instead of kicking him off the edge anyways. Even quicker than doing the quit out in real time. Plunge from top rope. See ya, man. Lots of pancakes today. And even more humanity with that Ring of Favor and Protection that we're most definitely going to switch for Ring of Sacrifice. Quelaag round 1 after going back to Blight Town with our weapon set up a bit better. Let's see how this goes with the gold pine resin. So immediately she does lava. I roll in. She traps me in her legs. We're on the hill here. I don't really like the hill too much, but we got the long lava attack, so not bad. Oh, sorry, that was the quick lava attack. Almost hitting her human half. I'm kind of wondering at this point if I can even get connection with the body, so I go for it. She swings through me at the same time, and now I'm getting a little greedy where the tip of her sword gets me on the exit roll. The greed, unfortunately, overcame me there. So I go back, and we're going round 2. Let's do a proper fight this time. Quelaag does have a lot of health, so as you can see, even doing that heavy attack, 391's not a bad number by any means, but it's going to be harder to kill her than anything else so far. I want to see how the jump attack goes. Was trying to test that, but I missed a little bit. All right, 391 on the jump attack, not bad. I'll take it. Yeah, and on counters, ooh, you know, that attack right there, I don't know if many of you have seen that one before, but I have not seen it for a very long time. Potentially not even this year as of playing the game. Like, I've seen it before. But like, it's been a long time, dude. It's harder to get her to do that with the way that I play this fight. You guys tell me in the comments how often you see her do the freak out with all the little wisps of fire around her body. We did get a direct connection to the human half, which was nice. Even just one of those in the total fight's good, because I've kind of been addicted to hitting her in the head lately. It's way more satisfying, and it's more damage. So with the victory achieved on Quelaag, we move on. We go to Ceaseless right away, picking up the gold hem set. And Ceaseless, unfortunately, as I get back to the gate, and to spare you the details of how long the run was over, I ran for a while, and he finally destroyed me at the gate before even getting to it, meaning that we were not fast enough with the amount of endurance we had and the speed of movement of the character. There was probably no way I'd be able to make it to the gate with this setup, meaning we have to kill Ceaseless normally. Even though I was up for just going for the skip and knocking him off the ledge, we're doing this the old school way. So let's see if we can survive the explosion initially. That almost did all my health, but you know what? Because he's leaving his arm lingering on the ledge, we can get right into this cavern and at least heal up and recover. So that's kind of nice. Usually what happens on Ceaseless, if you try to run past him from the very beginning of the arena, let's say you're on round 2 and you've died and you come back even, he will just trap you with a bunch of explosions, and if you don't play very, very well, the damage he does is pretty crazy. He will just kill you. So it's nice that we have more defense, and now we can just progress the fight, which is very simple. Just repeat hitting his arm as it's through the rock face, as you guys might have seen before. Going for jumping attacks to maximize that, seeing if I can squeeze in 2, which looks likely. After Ceaseless has been destroyed, gonna homeward bound back to Daughters of Chaos, get 40 strength, and then we're gonna run back to the bonfire in Blight Town over by where the Dragon Scale chest is and make our way to the Great Hollow. Well, sort of. I tried to quit out to save that one and be sneaky. The quit out worked, or did it? No, not really. It didn't work. That was pitiful. So, when I finally learned how to play the game and walk on platforms competently, I still missed this item, but I survived to this point at least. That's a little bit of an achievement. And as heavy as we are, there's no excuses for dying in Great Hollow. I've been doing this as part of a lot of runs lately, so I should be much better. Trying to go and stay out of the way of the curse frogs, because just don't really want to get cursed. I decided to try to kill some of them. And at that point, after getting this guy and this guy, the ladder is the next objective. Can we make it down to the other level? Well, if you remember correctly, there's even more curse frogs. And now I'm trapped on this platform. Well, just kill them too, right? Nope. Nope. I did in fact get cursed pretty early into the run. So now with half the HP, at least I can make myself feel better by getting some more Twinkling Titanite from this lizard here. And in turn, that does actually save us a lot of souls later, because with the giant blacksmith having unlimited quantity, he's charging a crazy premium in this economy, so I'm not going for that. I'm gonna try to buy as minimal as possible from him. Grabbing some more Titanite chunks just in case. And if you remember correctly, if we go to Framped as a friend, we can get him to chew them into large shards, so that could still be useful with the large ember. And there is a weapon we do need to get to +10 in this run. For the final version of the build, you guys already know that we're going to be using Smough's hammer, so you can imagine we got to turn something into +10 to transmute it. Now, we're actually at the bottom of Ash Lake after ducking the mushroom guys. There's another dragon scale that's going to be important, and we're going for the Dragon Covenant. So I haven't really talked about this fully yet, but you could probably guess what we're going to do. I was making sure that I actually backed out of the way of the Hydra instead of running across its path completely, because there wouldn't be much time to clear it. I think I would have died or taken a significant amount of damage. I mean, look how close these missiles are, even in the distance. I've never seen it get this close before. I will say that Ceaseless was enough of a precursor to know that I cannot outrun a lot of stuff the way I usually do. And this is still the super easy part of the run. It's going to get ridiculous. Now we're at Dragon Dad. Going to go back around and not even talk to him and just smash his tail off. We could use that as a weapon. I'm actually kind of surprised that it took 2 hits to get his tail. Gave a little bit of a kneel and a prayer for his butt. And now we're switching to Dragon Greatsword. Dragon Greatsword is fairly heavy, one of the heaviest weapons in the game, and now our equip load's even higher. It's 24 pounds, or 24 units of weight, which is 2 more than the Demon Great Axe. It actually does hit really good damage off the bat too, and we have some dragon scales to upgrade it. And another bonus is that it has a special attack that does range. So there's some situations where you might see us use that as well. We're gonna go and run back to the sewer bonfire and then go get the dragon scale in the chest. And why not kill Shiva and his bodyguard while we're at it? I don't really use Darkwood Grain Ring because I don't have a low enough equip load to activate it, but I mean, it's free souls, right? There's 2,000, and Shiva puts up a little bit of a fight, but he has no chance against the Everlasting Dragon Sword. The only problem here is after getting the 3,000 from Shiva, he drops the Iron Round Shield. Iron Round Shield's even heavier than the Sunlight Shield, so now I have to switch that as a secondary. Well, not exactly though. I mean, yes, but no. I could just put that on by itself and take off Grasscrest Shield, but I wanted both shields, so we are switching it as the secondary slot. And let's go kill some clerics. I think this sword is much more suited as it took out pretty much half the health bar of everybody all at once with one swing. Your magic may knock me over, but it just does nothing at the end of the day. The gods can't save you. You can swing as much as you want, but I will swing more than you can. Oh, surprise jump attack on Nico through the doorway. He's really trying, man. I decided to heal. I was getting a little bit too overconfident on this. I probably would have died in the next second or two. Another jump attack through the door. And then Rhea's trying to punch me. I don't know what she's thinking. She might be going a little bit delirious over here with all these missions that are going on, and maybe there's like not enough rations to eat much, but like, dude, goodbye. Flex the sword as my opponent is fading into the light, and pick up those 7 juicy humanities for later. Oh, and don't forget this item over here too. Even more humanities, why not? For a limited time only, Crow Airlines is running a promotion. If you weigh over 76.5 units of weight, you can take up 2 seats on the airline and have a recliner for your feet with extra comfort. Please sign up for Crow Airlines membership right now and get redeeming points for next year. After we take Crow Airlines back to the Northern Undead Asylum with our membership card, I mean, breaking the floor is pretty simple. This armor weighs quite a bit, so I could just fall right through. And now we have quite a giant opponent to fight off in another ultra heavyweight championship fight. I let the hollows fall down just for extra excitement as they get blown up by the AoE, and now we're going for Stray Demon. Stray Demon at this point makes sense since even if we do increase our damage much more, it doesn't really matter. I'd also rather be smart and try to get a lot of stuff out of the way while we're in the easier side of the build as we're still progressing the mandatory stuff. I don't have a firm rule where this is locked into mandatory progress at all costs just to become the heaviest, then doing all the bosses. It's kind of a mishmash. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather fight him while I can still actually jog and roll, because there will be a point very soon where we cannot roll, we cannot jog, we can't even walk as fast. We just are going to be very slow. And that's when the game changes completely to it's a different game. That's all I'm going to say. After hitting Stray Demon in the tail for what seemed like forever, we beat him. Now we're going to kill Donald's cousin over here. And with the Dragon Sword, I missed the jump attack, unfortunately. But look at the spacing, though. Beautiful. He's like, okay, I'm going to get you. But nope, jump attack right in his face again. They didn't think we were going to be that nimble. Got to relish the enjoyment of those jump attacks while we can still do them. And grab the Peculiar Doll for the Painted World. With those dragon scales in the weaponsmith box, I get +2 on the dragon sword, increasing the damage quite a bit because it is only 5 upgrades to max it out. We get 9 Titanite shards from Andre after that, and then go and get the Morning Star to +5 immediately because we're going to have to ascend it to +10. This is going to be the weapon we turn into Smough's hammer. Now, while I'm already in the Basin area, I'm going to go and take out Moonlight Butterfly because I just really don't feel like doing it later. Moonlight Butterfly pisses me off quite a bit, even though it's beautiful. I think it's a great design. Just the bridge arena and just the way that the fight goes, But to my surprise, on this particular run, I somehow did the fight without taking any damage. This is basically how you use the fat roll method on Moonlight Butterfly for a hitless run or a challenge run properly. There's a thing where your character height changes and the actual parts of the bridge that have a little bit of higher collision don't allow the needles to pass through you, and they kind of hit the bridge instead of going right into your body. As you can see, the missile even hits the wall right there as I'm standing back up because my timing of when I rolled lets me stand back up at the perfect time to miss it. It's not that the iframes are really doing the work here, but my height from early rolling is helping me recover at the proper dimensions for the wall. And this is just ridiculous. I don't think this is easy to do at all. I think it's kind of hard. I randomly just somehow got it, though. As Moonlight Butterfly lands, you can see the damage is so chunky that we're only going 1 cycle, making this a lot easier to actually snag the damageless run on her. And even though I was going in there a little bit spiteful, I left being very jolly and very happy that we got damageless. Very sick. I was actually practicing that method intentionally, and I could only get it like maybe 2 out of 10 times. So that's incredible. I've never pulled that off randomly before. Now, with the big ladder, we're going to go back into the forest to just basically save that 20,000 because I'm a cheap ass and I don't want to pay Andre. And we're going to go back up the route where the cats are and fight all the cats for some extra souls too. You don't really see them on any run I've done. In fact, you probably only see them in randomizers. I don't believe there's ever been a challenge I've killed them in my life that was not a randomizer. There is a few cats, and they roly-poly and steamroll right over you. But the hardest part is when you're fighting two at once. So even though they do have more of a passive nature, you got to be a little bit careful. I'm using this ridge with the tree to kind of just gate myself between them, and every time they try to bite me and dip into this valley, they do seem to backtrack quite a bit, but these ones are running away playing hard to get. I think they know that I'm a force to be reckoned with so far as a local legend of massive stature. All right, we have the final cat. Can we make it? Don't get eaten. Not gonna lie, Sif would have been a crazy boss fight if they just employed 3 cats at the same time as Sif, and maybe the sword just got thrown away or chipped or something like that. That'd be cool. Sword breaks, Sif throws it away, and then we have 3 cats come out as just a pure zoo unfolds within the arena. Our Taurus would have been proud. I can't remember if that very slow big bite is a grab at all. I think it might be. But either way, they make a really funny noise when they die. So with Alvina's 3 ugly-looking cousins dead, we can now go to the magic door and challenge Sif pretty early. I'm going to grab the Hornet Ring as well. Sif's just kind of a no-brainer to do now, so later it's a little bit easier to clear the back half of the game. And when I cannot really move at all, again, I'm already going to have to do DLC like that. You can basically map out all the bosses I'm going to have to do no matter what, so give me the optionals and let me suffer with fat rolling at least for a little bit and have a bit less weight on my shoulders, figuratively and literally. Now, the goal with Sif was just trying to stay underneath the whole time as much as I possibly could. The danger on it, though, is with Poise. When she does the double spin, if you do get hit by the first bit of it, you don't get knocked over like normal, so it actually hits more damage. Seeing as when you're a regular character that has under a certain amount of Poise, when you get knocked on the ground, the second spin will go over your body. It won't do anything. I got very lucky that I somehow got knocked back slightly, but not over fully, and spaced that one by an inch, because that's exactly what we were just talking about, but that was the luckiest range it could happen at where you don't get destroyed. The double hit is a guaranteed combo within the mid distance of the sword, even near the tip sometimes. So that's one of the few times I've actually seen myself survive that. Trying to do a little bit of a delayed rolling attack there. So if you guys don't know, there's a buffer where if you roll, you can still attack at varying times after recovering. It's about until the character stands up fully. So you have a lot of different frames to actually activate that prompt, and you can also directionally influence the attack too. So since this is a thrust and it would have missed in between her 4 legs, I was waiting a little longer than normal, attacking, then pivoting the stab into the front of her leg. After Sif's gone, we're going to go back to the shortcut for Undead Merchant, hit up the depths, and we can finally get that large ember where the butcher is. That plunge after the gangster jump over the handrail is something that I've been waiting to do for a long time, but just haven't had much damage to do for a while. Might as well go on a plunge spree and get Ratatouille at the same time. A one-shot, of course. And some extra humanity. Now, Gaping Dragon does have the Chandler active, and it's going to be buffed if I don't use the bow to take him out, which I don't really want to do. I have 16 arrows picked up with the bow from the Basin, so we're just going to save those. And I'll fight Gaping Dragon at full force. Aiming for the tail cut with that jump, missing. Chandler assisting. Shenanigans ensuing. Still not getting the tail cut. What's going on with how much damage that requires, man? That should have been a tail cut. Maybe I didn't hit the right spot. I don't know. I actually really don't know how much the number is you have to hit to make it snap off. These tail cuts are just giving me such a hard time. God forbid we have to go for Kalameet's tail cut, especially with the conditions of the character at that point in time. Oh my god. But there is actually some scenarios where I could get pretty close to the tail, and I think I actually do hit the tail later on if my memory serves me correctly. I just don't get it on an angle or in a spot where I get the Obsidian Greatsword. Doesn't matter because it's pretty light. But trying to just bob and weave these Chandler snipe situations and hit Gaping Dragon in the head. There we go. Dragon King Great Axe acquired. Unfortunately, the sword is pretty heavy too, so I think they're comparable on this. Meaning it wouldn't matter if I use it or not. It doesn't mean I have to use it, because it is not actually heavier than the Everlasting Dragon Sword. Now, if we didn't go to Ash Lake and I just went for Gaping Dragon earlier, we would have to use the axe for sure. So we're gonna warp out of the arena. We're gonna get the Morning Star to +10, or at least set up for +10 because we don't have a lot of large shards. And I'll keep the Demon Hammer at +5 since we have this Dragon Sword now, and we're gonna be using this for this portion of the game. Running through Sen's Fortress, picking up the large shard in the chest, going down where the ball is, because there's no chance I'm making it into that room without dying. If you remember, our health hasn't been touched at all. It's not going up anymore in the totality of playing this, so I might as well just play it on the safe side. And also, even just for these arrows coming out of the wall, just you know, relax, have some OJ, calm down, let them just spam the wall. Pendulums, dude. Oh, so close. So close. Do the crazy jump across to Crestfallen. In his inventory, he's going to have the residual large shards that we actually need, as well as some other things, but we're not going to grab them right away. The Tower Shield is of interest because it is 13 units of weight. 13 units of weight is super heavy. I also want some Black Fire Bombs as well. And I'm just kind of going through thinking about this, how I want to do it. I'm going to come back for the other items I need, but let's equip that Tower Shield immediately because it is heavier than our other secondary shield we're carrying, making our total equip load now 85 plus. That's just wild. Thank God we have Havel's Ring and Favor and Protection, or we would be screwed already. And it's actually really nice that rings don't have weight in this game as well, because that does help a bit. Taking down the giant before we go to Iron Golem. And let the fight commence. He's already wobbling. Oh man, that was so quick. I thought it would be funny to show the cutscene of the demons trying to pick my character up while he's over 85 pounds or 85 kilograms plus whatever his base weight would be. We're just gonna imagine it's kilograms. After a long battle, Stone Giant looks up. The demons are just like, hey, they never said this guy was gonna be this heavy. Oh my God. Oh, dude, my back. Oh, I gotta go to the gym. Oh. Haha, you guys have to carry him. I'm just the one that supervises. The manager's just like laughing because these other two guys are literally just like fucking slipping a disc trying to pick my character up. Oh my God. And dude, when they drop him on the ground too, the impact, it's gonna create an explosion. I can't even wait to hear the bill that we're going to be charged by City of Anor Londo for ruining public property after the demons just launch my cannonball-like character into the ground. Boom! Oh, there's definitely fucking prints in the ground. That's insane. Almost enough to kill ONS from the shockwave. There we go. So we got Morning Star to +10 with those residual shards and the Weaponsmith kit at the bonfire. And we're just going straight to Painting Guardian Rafters straight after. Everything's smooth so far. Please don't cut me off. No backstabs. Already threw the other knife. Now we're safe to go. And we just basically fall off and die. So that was really bad. And for insult to injury, 2 of them fall down and I get a throwing knife to my dead body. So taking these guys out, trying again. I'm going to take the guy out in the middle. Just, you know, maybe let go of some of the rage I have. And pick up the soul, of course. Now, let's hope this guy doesn't try to auto backstab me because he can do a jumping attack that turns into a backstab. Doesn't connect, we jump. Barely make it onto the handrail. We don't even clear the handrail because we're just that heavy. All right, now, after cranking the lift to get the shortcut set up for Darkmoon Tomb, the Lightning Gargoyle gets on the staircase, so I'm going to challenge him. Shouldn't take too long, though. Tail cut, stagger, jump attack, stagger, regular attack, dead. 1, 2, 3. Gargoyle shield, don't need that, because we already have a heavier shield anyways. You know, I don't think Gwyndolin would like that body on his property, so I decided to dispose of the evidence. Lighten the bonfire outside Gwyndolin's arena, and then we're gonna try to make our way past the giants very carefully after getting hooked behind his shield there. Super sketchy. Ledge of Death is coming up. Still gonna have to look back to see if the demons are throwing the spears at me and get ready to iframe the spears from behind. It's a little harder with the heavy rolls, but we're doing it. Oh man, the uphill run is really fucking... Oh, the hamstrings, dude. They're burning. Oh, the glutes. Dude, the workout is crazy on this one. I think my character is going to actually potentially have a cardiovascular collapse right now. This is not good. I didn't think about the stress on him. It's going to be a whole nother stat page open. Oh my god, through the heart. Oh, that's through the elbows. Okay, we're good. Almost got taken out right there. It was an inside job. Silver Knight just barely thrust himself off the edge. It was looking like a bad ledge right there, but we turned it around, and now we're sitting at the ONS bonfire. So we have 102,000 souls. It's a lot. But again, we came to this destination to set up the part of the run where it becomes what I like to call almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it almost is. A lot of you would say it actually is for you and your skill level, whatever experience you have on the game, but I think it is very likely that everyone can do this. It just does feel almost impossible sometimes until the tides turn and the tables turn around. So we're picking up the Havel's armor because it is the heaviest armor set in the entire game, and our goal was to get the heaviest in-slot equipment for every single thing we can equip. There we go. And we're still able to move. I don't like that though. Let's put on the Havel shield and see what we got. We're at 90.0 and our max equip load is just slightly above that, so we're still good. But if we put on that 26 units of weight in trade for the tower shield, no matter if we have a secondary shield or not, now we're moving super heavy, and I cannot roll, I cannot backstep, I cannot run. I can just walk really slow, that's it. But we're still not done though. We still need to become even heavier than this. That's still not enough. So 50 strength. And with some of the souls we have left over and everything, we're gonna go and get Smough's hammer set up for sure. But first I gotta make my way to ONS because I can't jump now, meaning there's no skip over the handrail. Decided to put on Hornet Ring so I could maybe backstab some guys. Maybe not, we'll see. Doesn't look likely, I'm too slow. Just beat him up. At least our weapon is a giant meat stick that does stagger, so let's see if we can make it across this rooftop now. Oh, the legendary strafe. Oh man. Are the angles working out? Dude, can I swivel? Just barely. Oh my god. Taking off the hairs on the neck. Switch to the lighter shield for parries, of course, because I am allowing that. That is actually the main function of having extra equipment on this run, is to be able to get a little more versatile since we're just locked into being pretty slow. But as I did say, only when in battle mode, we're going to be slow. For the mass majority of this area, there's tons of enemies, so I am just walking my way through it. I didn't unequip the weapon. but I am allowing myself, when I'm just being passive, to unequip my weapon, making myself able to run again if I want to go that route too. There's plenty of enemies I'm going to be killing. I will be in battle mode forcibly for boss fights, otherwise there's no way I can deal damage to them. So a lot of this is going to be spicy. With the 2 giants serving as bodyguards outside ONS, decided to creep up on them and see what we could do. This is the first attempt in the fight, and I made it through more than halfway of Ornstein's health bar. We're about 35% remaining, trying to pop humanity out of desperation because all my heals are gone. And also, they just give you really aggressive health back, but unfortunately, the greed gets me into this little corner by the pillar, and I'm slam jammed. Round 2. Quarter of health taken, maybe 30% we'll say. Boom, dead. And here is where things improved. So on this attempt, these are the methods I use to actually kill ONS. You're going to be using a lot of the Havel's Great Shield to block. It's also safe to say that I did upgrade Havel's Shield with some Twinkling Titanite as we could, but we're going to boost it even further by getting more Twinkling Titanite later. So the stability is pretty great with that in mind, no matter if you do upgrade it or not, but I thought, why not max it out? There's no chance we're going to be using that Twinkling Titanite for any particular weapon, since the heaviest weapons we have now are Dragon Scales, and then after that's going to be Demon Titanite when we get Smough's Hammer. So that's going to be a whole nother thing we have to go on a mission for. It's actually ironic, too, with Smough being such a big enemy that his hammer uppercuts and some of the plows actually do get blocked by the shield. In fact, I haven't played this game with a Great Shield before to this extent, so I saw things I've never seen before. Like, whatever he just did there made my character look like he did a backflip. Like, that whole animation is just something I'm not familiar with, even from a first playthrough standpoint. I did use Havel's armor on a first playthrough for DLC, but I never used the Great Shield, though. So this is really crazy, dude. He makes him do a backflip. Again, this is probably really basic for you guys, but I was having a lot of fun. And a lot of the micromanagement here is just like, you know, predetermining your angles with the walk, but then also making sure that you know when your stamina is going to run out so you can purposely get stance broken, but then go back to shielding again. And what happens when you get really good at this is you're almost doing deflex from Sekiro. So your blocks are never constant. They're actually tapped at the time that you get attacked, so you use the least amount of stamina, because when we're not leveling any other stat, we can't afford to actually hold block most of the time. Now, if we have full stamina, of course, that doesn't apply, but in really heated moments of back and forth, tons of exchanges, you'll see me tap the block where the shield goes up and down, and this allows our stamina to come back really quickly in between. So it really did feel like I was kind of deflecting attacks, and I highly recommend you guys try this if you haven't. Maybe even just for fun and not completing it, but it was super fun. There was moments where I remember over the days of trying this too, I did think, is this even going to be possible? I've never seen it before. I'm sure it's been done to some extent, but maybe not with the stipulation of also only leveling strength. So this was just something really weird where I'm like, I mean, I've done no roll. You can still sprint though. You could strafe a lot of stuff. I've combined that with level 1 and I've combined it with Deathless, but like, this is just a whole nother level of thinking. You don't think the same way. And it opened up a level of satisfaction for the game that I don't think I've been able to actually get from anything I've done on it before. This is just a whole new way of the brain being used for familiar things that you normally would calculate a certain way. You just have to kind of throw a lot of that logic out to a degree. I'd say 50% of the logic has to be different. Luckily, on the Dragon Greatsword, the long range attack that is special does go through the pillar, but I'm going to need some repair powders if I keep using it, or at least a bonfire to get it back to full durability, because it will break eventually, and I don't want to rely on only using that in this fight, since I don't have enough durability to make it through. I even switched to the Dragon King Great Axe because, again, the weight's equivalent, and unfortunately, the special didn't go through the pillar, even though it is a pretty big radius. Try that again. Nothing. So that's disappointing. Back to the regular sword, and now we're faced with the problem of how am I actually going to reach Smough and then survive? Because I could tiptoe up to him, but by the time I walk up to him, he would have already attacked, so I have to get attacked. And then I have to swing, but then he's doing a second attack, so then my health is gone, right? Well, some interesting things happen from this point. I'm not going to commentate much more. I'll let you guys see the rest of the fight. It is a little lengthy, but with the help of Blue Tearstone Ring to not kill me when I get to low health as easily, having a bit of a defense bonus, the humanities I have left, and a lot of determination, I was able to actually get this. So I will say killing Smough on this run was the moment where I realized we can do this. And then right after that, I missed Guinevere with the firebomb. Ain't that funny? Well, it's kind of interesting too, because I'm so slow that I have to trigger the Dark Anor Londo without overrunning the prompt for it. Usually you can run out of the room so fast that it doesn't trigger. So now we have to actually make it trigger. Morningstar plus 10 is going to be transmuted into Smough's hammer now that we have his soul, as he was the second phase that we did instead of Big Ornstein, so he gives us the hammer instead of the Dragon Slayer spear. And after making Smough's hammer, the next thing we have to do is go and get it upgraded a little bit. So Demon Titanite's going to be of massive interest here, but we have to still acquire quite a lot of it. The way that you would acquire Demon Titanite is through pickups. There is some in Anor Londo that I go back to later. There's actually one chest right now that we missed on the first lift we go down in the entire area that we can get. But there's also Titanite demons. So if you remember, I killed one of the Titanite demons, but there's plenty more in Sense Fortress. With the extra Twinkling Titanite that I need for the Great Shield for Havel, we can actually bridge the gap with the Giant, put that to +5, and then we're done upgrading that for our stability, our defense at least. And Smough's hammer with that one Demon Titanite does get upgraded. Just gonna take a nice midnight stroll and kill the Firekeeper.
So it was you, was it? But how? This man is a threat.
I do agree on this particular run that I am quite a threat, but you'd think that actually what she said towards Gwyndolin holds some weight to it. Not even trying to make a joke there, but when you see Gwyndolin on this run, you're gonna change your mind. I'm not gonna tell you what that means, but we'll get to that part. It's an interesting part. Demon Titanite acquired from the chest. We can put that on Smough's hammer and get +2. And now we're trekking our way back to Sense Fortress. Juicy plunge on the Titanite demon, but it wasn't quite enough to kill him, and then I just get bodied. Gets me with the good old 1-2 before I can even think. So I had a really good thought process of actually falling down from the upper level to kill him, because on the second one with the direct hit, look at that. It actually does one-shot him. That's amazing. Unfortunately, we won't be that likely to kill the other two, not even near that fast. It's gonna take a lot longer. So, sorry, there's 3 more of them actually. I only thought there was 2 at the time, but there actually is 3 more. The second one of which is in this little chamber here. He hooks himself into this small room and doesn't exit it that often. He actually kind of gets a bit stuck with his polearm. So the upper part of the weapon is like hooking on the ceiling and all that. And again, you can see as I'm blocking, the knockback that he deals to me pushes me so far away that his tail hooking me in on the double attack that he did was the only thing that got me in safe range to be able to kill him. And every time he backs away again himself by jumping, this makes a real big problem. So how do we get in range to reach him without having that tail hook us in? And obviously the tail's gonna do some damage too. This is a big problem with fighting Titanite demons in general, but luckily this one went down so much easier than the other ones. If you see how he crawled there for a really long time and didn't do anything, that was purely lucky. It could be because, again, he's stuck in that little room and maybe the environment triggers him to crawl more often. But when we go over to the ones over here, it's a completely different story. So here's my fight with the third Titanite demon. And again, he's just pushing me back into the wall the whole time. I'm getting a bit closer, trying to go for some jump attacks here and there. And then the second Titanite demon throws some lightning at me. I'm rushing to see if I can at least kill this one. He's almost dead, 1 hit away. I'm like, okay, we could do this. And I can still not use Smough's hammer in one hand, mind you. This was something that I needed to fix very quickly because it'd make it a little bit easier to attack quickly out of blocking. But second Titanite demon joined the chat. Goodbye. Popping some souls, trying to clear out the inventory of all the ones I have right now, and then we do want to level up strength a little bit more to meet that final requirement for Smough's hammer. Still not quite there yet, but we go back and two-hand it, and we're still trying to kill this Titanite demon, who does get me an insane amount of times. I'm not going to show all the deaths I had to this, but I was literally here for like, I want to say an hour and a half trying to do this part. It might seem like a lot of the fights in this run took a long time. I'm going to be straight up transparent with you with how long everything took as we go through. Sense Fortress was literally a whole endeavor. Like, it was just stupid. So I was like, hey, maybe we could plunge attack those Titanite demons too, because I noticed that through dying, when I looked up, there was a walkway, and I believe it lines up with Master Logan in his cage area. Now, I'm a little silly, so I was thinking this would be enough height to fall from and survive, just in my mind, but realistically, it's way too high up. So once we got there, after grabbing the Ring of Steel and Protection on the way, I get the plunge attack, and then I get death. So yeah, we're not doing that. Going back to the first Titanite demon again of the two that are remaining, and I found that this hallway hooks him in place. It keeps him more at bay. Again, the environment came into my advantage right here. And with that being done, the second Titanite demon went down a little easier, but I did die to him. It wasn't a first try, unfortunately. I was getting really crazy with my movement here. You can see the footsteps are just like fucking just all over the place. Big R2 attack. And then I recover within range of him. He swings over me. I could go for another one, but again, we don't want to go for an attack when we have such low health that the next engagement would kill me. So using humanities to heal, he takes away a good 35% of that total health again immediately right after I'm done popping it. And I'm blocking all of his regular attacks. This is where the one-hand attack would have been coming in handy, because I could have traded with him right as he was jumping away, getting counterattacks. But I have to switch to two-hand, go for two swings. I poise through a little bit. He jumps back in, and all I need is one more. Thank God, man. That whole section just to get that Demon Titanite, which I find was pretty necessary to get this weapon upgraded, because we're going to need all the damage we're going to get. That was rough. Now Smough's hammer goes to +4, and the final Demon Titanites are still roaming around in the lands of Lordran. So I thought that going to Frampton, letting him eat me this time was a little bit more endearing, since we've caused so much chaos and destruction, and then we're humbled with such a crazy weight equip load that, you know, things are just different now. I'm looking at life with a different perspective, having to move so slowly. I'm smelling the roses. I'm appreciating the fact we're in a 3D dimension where I can use my strength and willpower to survive and persevere to defeat the Lord of Cinder, so I might as well just let him be my friend this time. Cruising through the catacombs, I went into battle mode to kill these skeletons along the way, because I was like, yeah, they're probably going to chase me to the bonfire if I don't, which was a huge mistake, because no matter how much I tried in this section, and you'll see I'll let it play out fully for the first little bit of it, they just kept coming back, and I wasn't actually able to touch down at the bonfire no matter how hard I tried. I went back here 3 or 4 times in a row, and then I finally changed up the strategy after, but in the meantime, this is exactly what transpired. So yeah, we just decided to switch to passive mode. I took my weapon off, meaning that if I want to kill anything, I have to put my weapon back on and then immediately go to slow mode. I'm not using this as a cheesy method in a lot of the areas, particularly just for longer stretches and all that, but you know, it's still kind of inconvenient to have to switch back to not being able to move even if I do equip the weapon. The Necromancer was killed, got the switch, and then passively ran through the area to do the Catacomb skip. Luckily, I just ducked that skull exploding, and it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. Went back again, did it a second time with the fat roll, and now it's time to firebomb some skeletons, and then walk our way over to Pinwheel Arena. I'd imagine with +4 on Smough's hammer, there's no way this fight could be bad, but usually it's made easier because you can still run around, right? Doesn't matter if you roll attacks on Pinwheel or not, you could strafe a lot, but getting to him is a little bit of a challenge. So as I take out the clone and then noticing he's a little further away, luckily he jumps a little closer to me, and then I can actually hit him. Almost getting a 2-shot, not bad. And Mask of the Mother is one of my favorites because it does boost the health. Great effect. Mask of the Child's the best, but Mask of the Mother's second to that, in my opinion. Sorry, Giant Dad. We're just more giant than you on this run anyways. We don't even need a mask. Went battle mode for the big skeletons over here. Thought it would be fun to just go through Tomb of Giants super slow and, again, smell the roses. Or maybe lack of roses and maybe just rotting corpses. Big bonk on the head like a whack-a-mole, and he goes boom into the grave. And I can still slide down these beams at the same speed as normal, so that does make things a little quicker. I was also thinking too, on this middle ledge, which I never really used to my advantage, there is a way to fall down. So I can skip the second beam sliding and then not have to turn the corner with both the skeletons. Of course, I could passively run through a lot of this, but I thought it would be fun to try this way. And I could see the glowing eyes from the big skeleton below when I searched around long enough to decide, yeah, I definitely am going to plunge. Just make sure that I land on the platform. I missed the plunge right through his legs. But the other guy actually almost kills me right there, so I'm like, okay, I'm backing away, get some chugs right away after killing the main target, and slowly creep my way off of the edge of the beam. Can we make it to the bonfire before he would fall down and get us? I wonder. Sometimes one of the big skeletons does actually make it, but usually it's the one that I actually killed, so I think I'm safe. So we lit the bonfire for Tomb of Giants. I let Patches kick me into the hole to feel a little special, because killing him after him doing that makes even more sense in my opinion. It's more righteous as well. Eye for an eye is not even beginning to explain the philosophy here. It's even deeper. I mean, this goes as deep as Amazon, dude. Jeff Bezos with a spear and great shield needs to be dismantled because overnight delivery doesn't always work, and Prime memberships are expensive. Anyways, after doing all that, we're gonna get Slumbering Dragon Crest ring because I did forget it, but I'm also realizing during all of this that there's a chance I don't use it at all for anything, seeing as even if we went to Nito, it really doesn't matter if we kill him with stealth because we're so chunky and everything. So I could use the Descended Occult Club that I got when I was getting Havels in Anor Londo and use the Divine modifier to actually permanently kill the skeletons. So in the meantime, we went to go to New Londo Ruins, we got the Firekeeper Soul, we ended up killing Discount Jeff Bezos very quickly, and got the Humanity and Crescent Axe, which I don't have the stats to use and never will since we can't level Faith. Running passively through Tomb of Giants, well human this time, I am intending to spawn in Leroy. And look, there he is. So with the +4 Smough Hammer, let's see how much work this puts in. 2 giant dudes with big hammers. 1 victor. Who comes out on top? Oh, he's using magic. He's cheating. He's cheating. Kill him. He's a big cheater. Breaking the rules. That was supposed to be an honorable fight. See, like, I want to love Leroy, but this is why I don't like him. At least he gives us the Sanctus. Sanctus is going to be a great replacement for Grasscrest Shield in situations like Nito, where I want to have my health stay as high as possible. And we don't really need the Great Shield to block the skeletons. We just need to smash them as fast as we possibly can. So, that'll be great. Maybe I won't use it the whole fight, but it's good to have on anyways. It's the exact same weight as the Grasscrest Shield, so switching it, I mean, it wouldn't matter anyways, but why not? Immediately getting a Grave Sword up my bum. And Toxic. Definitely have to go get a colonoscopy now or something like that. And we got the Divine Club that was descended at Andre to kill the skeletons. They're going to permanently die, so it'll be a lot easier to fight Nito one-on-one, and the damage we're taking from this isn't too severe, even with Toxic, so I'm not worried. There's no chance that we're going to be able to get away from that Gravelord Sword unless I put on a polearm weapon like a halberd and then block, but by the time I switch all that stuff, it's just not really worth it. Let's see how much we hit with Smough's Hammer on Nito. Nito's known to be a little bit of a tanky enemy, but 709 with the jump attack, dude, at +4? What? 709. It's not a buffed weapon. Imagine we use glitches and we tumble buff Smough's Hammer. I'm super curious with 99 strength, or at least the maximum amount of strength to scale the weapon, what a tumble buff would do. I want to see Dark Moon Blade rank 3, tumble buffed on Smough's Hammer. Luckily, Havel's Shield does actually work really well for the sword that he's using, and we can block the attacks. So switching back out of Sanctus at this point when we can actually heal is nice. And when we're close range, he's not going to do the Gravelord's Sword nearly as much, so it doesn't matter. Beautiful Nito, very fast actually. And yeah, the AoEs were just not really there today. I start doing a lot of victory spins increasingly as we kill harder bosses during this run. But one boss that I did not victory spin for on the first try, unlike Nito, was Gwyndolin. I go back to Darkmoon Tomb, and this is what happens. Yeah, so Gwyndolin, you can already do the math mentally. It's just hard. He teleports infinitely far away. You can't hit him many times when you can hit him. And then we killed the Firekeeper, so we're back in Anor Londo. Decided to take the opportunity to go to Duke's Archives because we did actually make friends with Frampton. All the yellow gates are gone, but I can't Duke skip. So we're gonna get killed by Seath, and I have to escape the prison as just the classic go-to. I saved the trouble of showing you guys all the run around with the prison ghouls and all that, but this upper part was quite a play. The mini Cobra guy shooting lightning corners me. I'm trying to scramble to get the actual hammer back out, go into battle mode, can't really move too much. We got 2-man serpents cornering me with the projectiles from the corner. Magic pixel of health, but then I block on the frame he attacks somehow. It almost looked like it was the exact same time. And I survive, which is nice. Now I gotta find a way to heal, but we need the pillar to save me. Let's see. So we still have some Estus. He's creeping very slowly with his block. As he pivots, I go for the one, he goes for the attack. I don't get the block on that one, but I have enough health in total. And then we're able to turn the tides completely on this one. That was super close, though. Get whack-a-moled. And now we can mosey over to the chest. I really hate escaping the prison. So, yeah, this is just not a nice combination. Doing it with the slow setup. I am going passive through all of Archives, so you'll see some normal speed at least, or heavy speed we could call it. And once we actually touch down at the bonfire for the Duke's Archives, I'm going to kindle. I was thinking, hey, if we're gonna do Seath, I might as well have as much Estus as possible. I'm not so sure I'm gonna get cursed on him. It's a likelihood, but I don't really know how it's gonna work out with this armor set. And mind you, this is me not even thinking of the ability to block the crystals. This is something I didn't know you could do. So I'm learning this as we go, but you'll see what I mean once we get in the fight. Now I'm just trying to bide my time thinking of how am I gonna do Seath. And we finally enter the arena. Oh boy. Luckily on the very first attempt of doing Seath, you are able to go and start where the crystal is immediately, so that's nice. So I have the home field advantage of being closer to where you stagger him from breaking the crystal at least, and we can get a good start. Go for a punch. Doesn't matter if I use the hammer or not for that. I was standing still. It literally doesn't make a difference. Don't call me out for that one. Okay, you can call me out if you want to. That'd be a really funny thing to complain about. But back to battle mode, going for the massive jump on the, I guess, arm, tail, whatever you want to call it. Pretty big hit already. And that's not even the heaviest damage we can deal to him because we got to hit him in the belly. So I'm just kind of skirting around the outside, trying to find windows where he's not attacking necessarily. He's still turning and I can hit the leg for the most part, and then spacing the melee attacks. Now, I do plan to go into the center. I plan to just face the music and get hit by the crystals. But again, this is before I knew that you could block the crystals. They still do damage, but this shield somehow is calculating blocking. You can hear it. Isn't that weird? I don't know why that's a thing, because you'd think the hitbox would be underneath you, but this is kind of like in Dark Souls 2 where enemies are blocking their whole body with a shield that's not covering their whole body. So you shoot their foot, and it still is blocked. Maybe your character has properties where, again, because the Great Shield actually does go pretty far down, they wanted you to be able to block the floor. Or just the attack has properties where hitbox-wise, it helps you. But as you see when I'm engulfed in the crystals, it just seemingly slows down, or possibly doesn't even. Maybe I'm just assuming it's slowing down the ticking. It still ticks. When I'm in the smaller crystals, though, you're blocking them. So you can tell me if maybe the speed of decrease of health right there and the curse buildup was normal, or I was actually slowing it down even more by having the Great Shield out. But either way, the armor's coming in clutch, the shield's helping a bit. And we're actually making progress on what I didn't think would be a boss I could do this quickly. Now, with the big crystals, the big attack, let's see how far that bar goes up. Oh my god, I almost got cursed. Okay, that was very close. So I know the limits now. I don't think I'm going to go in as deep as that, or at least be that hasty. We got about 35–40% left on Seath's bar. I think I really can do this if I space out the lasers properly. But this is the problem now where we're getting into the corner, and the features of the environment itself sticking out of the wall are going to get me trapped on certain angles. So to be able to bait attacks, it's so much different. The fact that he's even standing still, it gives me opportunities like this to get in, but then when I get out, that's the problem. So I go for the one jump attack, and then I start running away immediately, but I'm thinking, hey, we're in the pits right now. We're in the crevice of where the leg meets the belly. Let's just go for it. Boom, explosion happens. Big damage is taken immediately from the AoE. Still getting curse build up almost to the point where the bar is full, and I kill him. Very hectic, but victory spins nonetheless, and then we're going to Painted World. With the Peculiar Doll, Painted World's open. I'm just taking that little shortcut of Invisible on the side of the bridge to get to Priscilla. You just fall onto it and then back around to land underneath where the zombified dragon is, and you can get to her really quickly. I went for the jump attack to try to cut the tail. Didn't really work out to my advantage. So now she's invisible, and I'm freaking out because I can't really move. Looking for her footsteps like a madman with my eyeballs twitching all over the place. I remember even in this moment, I was getting the heart rate up a little bit. Priscilla, even though she doesn't do a lot of damage with melee, she does a lot of bleed. So there's one block right there. There's a second block. I go for a swing, and she trades with me for full blood loss, one shot. Round 2. Boom, big jump attack. Another jump attack. She tries to get me with bleed. It almost triggers. It's so close, but I think because maybe it was a counter hit before she hit me with a different attack, I was able to get bled all at once. So that was really nice. Spinning around, doing my thing. And now we're going to go get Flamestone Plate Ring from Sense Fortress because anything fire related would be helped by that. And also Spellstone Plate Ring because Gwyndolin can be helped from that. Flamestone Plate's probably going to be used for Kalameet, so when we get to the DLC, when he breathes his fire, it's the only thing I can think of where, you know, it's going to aid in me trying to recover from it. But Gwyn also does fire damage as well, and even though Gwyn technically could be done without it, it might be a worthwhile play. We'll see. So we're doing Gwyndolin round 2 here. Still trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. It's basically a healing game because those big beams go through the pillars. They get you. You can strafe them, but because you have to strafe them and then be open in the middle of the room, the next attack he does sets you up for failure because you can't still make progress forward towards his direction while also strafing the attack. So you have to lose distance. And it turns out with the way this transpires, you just have to get hit every so often. So can I out-heal him? Can I make it to him? Can I do enough teleportations where I get him? We'll see in the future. But for now, we're going to go and clear out the royal room where Sigurd usually appears, or I guess it'd be Sigmire in this game. And we're going to go and get more Demon Titanite from the chests. There's another 2. This completes the total 4 that we needed remaining that I have scavenged. And now we have Smough's Hammer +5. And we're heading over to the Izalith ruins to clear out this centipede so I can sit at the bonfire down here. And we can start working on more of the optional bosses in this area. Demon Fire Sage, round 1. Just swings right over my head. I'll take it. And then he just goes for a plunge and misses. Oh, okay, maybe he gets me with the shockwave, but that doesn't count though. That's just artificial, and it's fake and lame. That's what it is. Going for some big counter hits with the jump attacks on his recovery from the jump, trying to be mindful of the timing on the buffer because it does have lingering damage. So if you jump in too soon like that, you're going to get bopped. Go for a giant attack with the R2, get that 820. He backsteps, goes for AoE, I block. Let's see what happens. Only a tiny little bit of chip damage, and I didn't even use that much stamina. That's probably a good 25% of my total stamina that he takes when I block the AoE. That's crazy. So this is a likely fight. And on round 1, I'm happy about that. Even blocking his actual staff melee is crazy. Things I've never done before, but it's fun to try for the first time. And with that final slam of his butt, he goes down. Victory spins indeed. Nice first try. Centipede Demon, no first try. Definitely grounds to go back and see how it goes once again, but seeing is an understatement. Because on Centipede Demon, the cameraman just kinda takes a break and leaves the camera somewhere on the table. You can't see much. Almost dead again from that intro attack, but because I don't get countered, I survive by a little bit. I'm able to heal up, and then he actually doesn't just stretch arm me a second time because he's so close he can do whatever he just did right there. Dude, what is happening? Well, actually what happened is I knocked the arm off, got the orange shard ring early, but because I was stuck in the corner and he did his slam attack like so, couldn't see a single thing like I was saying. Stomps are actually trying to get me. I go for the block, get a nice poise heal right there. Goes for another slam with no fire. And now we're in business. Now I can reach him a little bit. So I'm going for some attacks from overhead, charging up that super heavy with 2 hands, going for more blocks to see if he goes for swipes. He grabs me. Please don't die. What happened there? Wait a second, guys. Please, someone tell me in the comments, is he supposed to do no damage when he grabs you? Or whatever he did to me? What did he do? What does Centipede Demon do when he grabs? I swear to God, that was weird. But anyways, we beat him. Just please tell me in the comments what happened there. And I'll just mosey on through the lava, destroying my Havel's set that I worked so hard to get in the early bit of this run, doing so much durability damage. But at least I got the orange shard ring, and at least we are able to secure the hidden bonfire before Bed of Chaos, because you see, I am not going to be taking the shortcut to get there. I'm just going to go right through this path and enjoy the scenery. Also some dino butts that were not completed because Miyazaki didn't complete the game, and this area is incomplete. Just like my battle with this pyromancer, since I don't really feel like killing him. Goodbye. So Bed of Chaos is really interesting on this run. As you might remember, Bed of Chaos in the beginning consistently keeps sweeping its hands to keep you away from the center. Now the center can't be accessed anyways without the arms being disabled, but we're not going to disable the arms any special way other than just using the firebombs like normal and doing the speedrun skip. Now, how am I able to move into the center, you ask? Well, I had no idea how to do this because you literally don't have enough speed to move into the center. You just keep getting knocked back, almost being gate-kept forever. But I am so stubborn, so weird of an individual that I literally tried this for an hour straight until I figured out a method of how I could actually make it into the middle with this speed. It went from blocking and trying good angles and, you know, maybe going around the other side of the map, and then I started punching the air with no weapon active in the passive mode to be able to move. I think this is fair on this particular fight just for science, but also because we're not actually able to do damage to Bed of Chaos until the arms are broken. So until I actually strike gold and I hit that first arm with a firebomb, I don't really think having a weapon matters. Now, I am going to put the weapon back on after that and go through the tunnel very slowly, don't worry. But either way, I mean, actually, wait a second. No, it is fair because technically I still have the slow walk speed, so it doesn't matter. I am in battle mode. I could get my fist out if I wanted to for combat. I'm allowed to do that. I still have the weapon on. See, now I'm just getting kind of paranoid for no reason. But anyways, yeah, the rules are still applying here. I punched the air to move quicker so I could actually make it through the hands while blocking intelligently in between on angles where the lineup of the slam attack being slower instead of the sweep actually allowed me pockets of time to be able to beat the timer of the hands. And we finally made it into the middle. This was something I didn't actually think was going to be possible at all. I debated, should I continue to keep even trying this? But I saw potential for it, and now we're gonna do a Bed of Chaos skip while I can't see where I'm aiming because the shield is so big. Oh, actually, wait, that's not even the shield. That's just the shoulder pauldron. Dude's fucking shoulders are so big he can't see. My God. Okay, so now Smough's hammer's back on. We got the bow on, of course, and let's go and put on flame stone plate ring, so if the fire does hit me from the fire pillars, it doesn't matter. Here's where something happens that's a twist. So I throw the firebomb, It literally doesn't work. It doesn't work. What do? I get knocked over? Oh my god. I'm gonna die? Or am I? I just throw a random firebomb. And then it works. What was that, dude? What was that? Okay, so I mean, I'm freaking out watching that again just because like when it happened, you have no idea how exciting that was. The likelihood of me throwing the bomb randomly without aiming after I already got set out of the place you need to set up to be perfectly angled and almost being dead at the same time with that panic is so ridiculous. The odds of that, this is truly a special moment. It's truly a special run as well, but that will never get old. That's a clip, just clip it. So I did in fact get destroyed by the fire pillars and everything a little bit, but we still are making our way through here, punching the roots to move a little quicker with our heavy setup still. And look, there's the fire pillars again, almost killing me, but my defense is so high that I'm able to survive it with Flame Stone Plate Ring probably sponsoring that engagement. And I punched Beta Chaos because I was just so pissed off at it. Didn't even need to use Smough's hammer, just punched it. Dude, that is easily the best Bed of Chaos fight I've ever done in my entire life. And it almost is actually fun because there was some sort of puzzle to figure out in the beginning of how do you actually access the center of it. And I challenge you guys, go with a setup where you can't move other than walking slowly, so over encumbered, and try to get into the middle just to be able to aim. Like outside of even the skip, outside of not being able to see, just try to do that and tell me how it is because it's crazy. All right, now we got Ingward. And we're trying to get the key to the seal. So this is pretty simple. I still am able to aim the fire bombs for this one since all you really need to do is know where he roughly is and then get the maximum height. So it's easy enough for me to imagine where his body's placed. Only having that little amount of the screen blocked, it's not as bad. And with key to the seal, very happy I didn't have to run through the ghost house. I hate the haunted house. Did that on the last run on the randomizer. No thanks, not this time. We're gonna trade our secondary ring, which was usually Havel's or Blue Tear Stone, maybe Flame Stone Plate, whatever calls for the the duty that we're taking on. And we're gonna switch that for the Ring of Artorias to go into the Abyss. And Four Kings, it's a fight that's kind of a toss-up when it comes to the difficulty here of what we're doing. Poise is really nice because you can actually chug through their attacks, but if you're very close to Four Kings, any of them in particular have hilt damage that's very low from their weapon. So if their handle hits you, it doesn't do too much even if you are swinging, meaning I can be super aggressive at a close range and be fine. Let's see the AoE. Blocking the AoE still doesn't even do that much damage as long as you have the stamina. So trading some patience for that well-timed block will pay off as well. And we could just clobber them close range. You can see all these hits are doing very, very small measurements of damage. I would have to be in the middle of the sword or the end to really take a big hit. And even a big hit with this defense is still pretty good. So we'll heal up. I'm only using 5 flasks on this, meaning humanity's my backup, but I still have plenty because obviously we didn't do the shortcut for Beta Chaos, and that's all fine and dandy. Blocking the magic missile here, barely any damage. And they're not knocking me back with their swords. I'm just getting stunned on the spot, which is great. You'll notice that certain bosses have crazy knockback value, like Smough, for example, or even Beta Chaos's hands. Different things like that make it a lot more complicated for trying to time your next engagement because you lose so many feet in terms of distance from their body. So with 4 Kings dead, feeling pretty good about finishing this run at this point. All of the things I thought might be impossible are really becoming possible in my head, though the DLC is known to be the hardest part of the game. And then Gwyn, I did say in the intro, we're not parrying Gwyn. I'm not doing that because that'd be the easy way out. So let's set up the DLC and see what we're cooking with once we get to Ulasil. Along the way in Duke's Archives, the Crystal guys plus Chandler almost killed me, so I used the handrail as safety. No time to back out of battle mode to go passive so I could run around the corner either, so we're definitely just gonna try to kill him like this. Slowly but surely. And 2 for 1. Ironically, the Crystal Golem with the pendant goes down in 1 hit, and I'm already at the DLC to have it set up because Dusk was freed early. Beautiful. All we gotta do now is touch the suspicious black hole forming in the atmosphere and basically do what most people probably wouldn't do if this was real life, only to be grabbed by a giant monkey hand. Sanctuary Guardian is now the next target. This was really interesting too. Blocking the lightning right away. All the lightning beams do such small chips to the endurance that it doesn't matter stamina-wise. Very small chip damage overall to the health, not even yellow. So we could take a beating from projectiles and not worry. It's mainly the combo attack, but he jumps on my head, which is something I saw in the randomizer a little bit, but I was wondering, I'm like, does that really happen in real runs? I guess I just don't stay close enough to him to really dodge that as an attack. But yeah, interestingly enough, he misses the first of his combo, only goes for a 2-piece, but this is where we poise chug through the rest of the beatdown, and I'm just starting to swing. Just going for crazy swings. We get a stagger right there, and then we can finish him off. Because Sanctuary Guardian, as you all know, has like no health, basically. Not even a lot of defense. Victory spins for the first try. Got some repair powders from Elizabeth. She upsold me on them. I mean, she was looking so appealing with her inventory. I got consumerism within my soul here, got marketed. But again, we can use those for the dragon weapons if we do use specials again. Artorias is next. He's gonna be a little bit trickier. We can block his attacks as well, but he's so fast and the rate of how quickly he attacks and just his general movements are a little bit trickier. He does have the knockback quality where when he does his bigger hits, he does make you slide across the floor. And we're gonna try to break him out of every single AoE, but that one didn't work too well. Unfortunately, I didn't arrive in time and couldn't even confirm that second hit before being blown up. At least I'm still in there. Trying to really quickly time the blocks out of my swing engagements so that I don't get completely screwed, and you'll see how he breaks my guard on some of them as well. It still keeps me in there though, because his recovery is just long enough to get enough stamina back to block again. Healing up, getting momentum back over here. Really trying to figure out exactly if there's windows big enough where I don't have to panic block and get guard broken as much. So I do like this swing in with the slide. Thrust can hit me directly, that's fine, but then we get the stagger, so I'm like, maybe the double hit is a good thing. I was thinking it might take 3 to stagger him, so we might have chained another extra attack in succession quick enough to do that. And now we only have 1 hit left, so let's go for a big slam. Goodbye, Artorias. Victory spins are a necessity here, because we're literally deathless in the DLC so far. I passively ran through the areas, so you're gonna have to take my word for it that I didn't die on any enemies just doing the regular heavy run. And with both fights being battle mode being super slow, crazy that they were first tries. Here is Death Alley, as I like to call it. These guys kill you very fast, and it's a run killer for so many different types of challenges too. But with Havel's shield and just being very patient because we have no other choice, I'm able to take out the first bloated head guy that's in the middle here, get some corner action with the pillar for defense, and these sorcerers that normally would make fun of me by poisoning me, laughing, and then shooting giant purple balls of doom don't have as much of an advantage. I have the spells Stoneplate Ring, and I'm thinking that does still work for dark magic. You guys can tell me if it doesn't. I surely do get poisoned. That's it's an unfortunate trade of events here, but we have to take what we get. And I was going to use a humanity to heal with the stairs being my guardian. I don't know why that sorcerer doesn't move up, but if we were playing multiplayer online and that was a teammate of the other team, the fellow opponents would be pissed. Just got her by the toes, and the whole body goes down too, just folds like cardboard. Thanks for the green shard, I don't even need it. But now we have the chain prisoner, who is my most hated enemy in the game right now. Randomizers, he just will end immediately, and next to the mushroom that punches you in 1 hit, he's actually truly a lot more dangerous because he's got a moveset, whereas the mushroom just has, I don't even know, it has like just some swag to it where it kind of moves slowly, and then if it does connect, you're dead. So you kind of feel stupid, but he will outclass you on so many levels with speed, precision, multi-hit combos with a slide. So I'm really glad I took him out. Got some more levels before Manus, of course, and now we're going to be kindling to 20 flasks just to see if we can secure the first time victory on him too. Manus is a fight I'm typically very good at. I was talking about this on the previous run that we did with the randomizer, but none of that applies to this fight when it comes to dodging or anything, because I can't. So now I have to get used to trying to block his attacks and not being able to move nearly as fast, meaning that immediately we get juggled. And look at the juggle damage, baby health. So we could say I got kind of lucky here. We could say it was the perfect storm. Even that chug was almost simultaneously trading with his next hit that would have killed me. And that was the moment I think I should have died, but my reflexes are still apparently good enough, even being this slow, to somehow hang in there. And we made a massive recovery, turn the tides. And dude, honestly, even without the kindling, I probably wouldn't have made it through this. We'll see how many chugs we have to take to get through the whole fight in the end, but you can see his slams actually knock me back, and it makes me do the backflip as well. This time with the juggle, I have the shield out fully. He does guard break, and he finally confirms the last bit of the slam. I'm starting to think that with the juggle, I might not be able to block the full sequence, or at the very least on that final part of the slam, he's still going to break my guard. It's fine if that's the case, but if we have the same scenario on the next juggle again, where he does half my health before I'm done with just dealing with the combo, it's kind of sketchy. So this is where Green Blossoms came into play, because my thought process was exactly what I was just saying, is that, you know, my guard's being broken way too much. I need to kind of partition my shield blocks, so when I hold up the shield, I can recover so fast with the stamina that the next thing has no chance of taking the full bar. With the extra stats that we did level, you'll notice also on Manus, I am able to one-hand swing now, so blocking into one-hand swinging is a bit of a saving grace here. But again, juggled, and on the final swipe before the slam, they both hit for a two-piece. Thank God the final bit's not more damage. I'm wondering if I was directly underneath him if it would do more, because I was a little further away. And maybe blocking right before that and getting guard broken helped me, but dude, this was really scary, especially with the walls and the little pillars and everything. Very, very slow fight. Trying to play it safe, even though I'm hitting 566, and now the magic's coming in here. So turn around and block the magic. My only option, I'm never going to be able to strafe it at all, so we'll see if the up in the sky magic's a little bit different than the down in the ground magic. That was the plunge into the ground for the circle that comes outside in, and now when he calls from the magic from the sky, that'll be interesting. Shotgun blast, I think, will be possible to block, but here we go, magic in the sky. What's going on? Block, 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 block. That does indeed do quite a bit of damage, even though the first bit of it did hit the shield somehow. But when those little wisps change direction, it gets kind of scary. I'm sure all of them confirming probably would have killed me, especially if I was able to run. The counter damage would have just been game over. Nice set, 784 damage on the counter hit from his slam too, when I go for the jump. Not bad. We're really hanging in there. I'm trying to just skirt on the edge of the threshold for the Green Blossom. Every time it comes back into play when I can use it again, I'm going to try to use it as soon as possible. As long as there's a heal opportunity or something that would have been a normal attack opportunity, I'll trade that to have the fast stamina regen any day, because he still has a sizable amount of health left. So I'm frantically checking the Green Blossom, seeing if it comes back. And there we go. We have confirmation it's back now, so I just got to block a little bit more, and then I can eat another one. He backstepped. I was thinking of going for it there, but I want him to scream or do something. Like the finger pop's a really good one that I went for right there. When he does the slams, there's a delay, and it's signified by him popping his fingers outwards. If he doesn't pop outwards, he's going to keep comboing. So because I saw the finger pop, it was the only likely case where I had like 3 seconds to be able to eat it and then still block right after. And even if he went for juggle after that, we got full stamina. That block was so last second, dude. Oh my god. And I am switching back to two-hand on finger pops now just to get a bit more damage. Outside in magic, block it, no problem. It's funny that it even pushes you though. So we're coming up on the victory right here. We're getting close. It's very likely we're gonna win. and I'm feeling it. But again, Green Blossom, very important. I'm going to munch another one. Or am I? I went for that big attack that went unpunished. Lucky that he did the strafe. Here's the shotgun. I don't have enough stamina left to block it because of that previous movement and the fact that we don't have endurance leveled. So it kind of overdoes the stamina. I'm in negative, and then he gets half my health with the rest of the shotgun blast. I'm in the corner. He's slamming me. I'm starting to panic now. Oh, man. Things can just change in a second on this one. New shotgun blast. I do block the full thing with almost a full stamina bar. That's good news. And baby health left. The magic pixel he is surviving on. Just need enough patience to get him. Boop. Whack-a-mole does coconuts, and victory spins as he's fading out. Beautiful. After consulting Hawkeye Goff for some local sniping action, we got Kalameet down, and now I could challenge him. This is how the first fight went, so I made him to maybe 35% health taken or so. Got him that low. What happens on Kalameet, though, that's weird, if you guys don't know this, whenever you're by the waterfall in the arena, he does an excess amount of fire attacks. This is something that's not relevant in challenges, really, because he's moving around so much, and you could position yourself to make him leave that area. But when you can't leave this area that much, you'll notice he just keeps breathing fire. I'm sure it's very common and something you've encountered, but maybe you didn't think about it because you moved around a lot. Try it and see for yourself. The variety of fire attacks is still somewhat abundant, but it just sucks because even though he's giving us the attack we need, you can see it pushes us back every single time we block. And you'll see more action of that in the actual successful attempt, but this is how the first one went and how I evidently ended up dying by just being spammed over and over again. The stamina wasn't enough to be able to stabilize the fire, and he just basically went into negative with my endurance. This is round 2. Starting off strong with a block, and now the whole method of what I'm thinking is, okay, try to get underneath him. You know, we can still punish, obviously, the classic attack, and 554 is a decent amount of damage, too. Unfortunately, every time he does the Calamity attack, if I don't get lucky with where I'm placed by default, he's going to give me the double damage eye. It does fade very quickly, though, so thank God. Fire from above, it does tick a little bit, but it doesn't persist to do damage through my blocks, even with low stamina. That's great. Just got to be really mindful of the previous engagement, and I can get underneath him, so I'm learning right now. Almost taking 60% damage just on that little dash away from the back leg. I'm getting a feel for the fact that he's not going to one-shot me, but he could easily follow up with something that kills if I don't get the block, and I have no stamina. Standing fire is not too much of a threat because the pushback on it pushes you out of the range. And the fly-in. Fly-in pushes you back but doesn't do a lot of damage. So that's pretty cool too. Even overhead from the tail doesn't make a direct hit. Interesting that it still hits the shield. Just barely walking away from the pain train at the edge of the threshold so it doesn't combo. Beak directly from the fly-in. One of the safest things so far, but because I was more centered, he does get me on the recovery of it. Not likely to kill, really, even with another hit following, because it was only like maybe 25% of the health, not too bad. And we're feeling this out. We're almost at the halfway point here. I was thinking of going for some greedy swings, but I'm like, no, we got to play Kalameet very carefully. It really is unfortunate we didn't get first try on every single fight in the DLC, but I almost did, though. If it wasn't for the waterfall, I think I could have figured the same stuff out in that fight that didn't progress there, or if it didn't progress there, in the reality where that exists, and I would have won. That the next swipe I learned, it does kind of like pinch you in. So that's nice because it gets me underneath them. Very, very good. That's usually a disadvantage when you're rolling around and you can move, because you want to stay farther away from his head or just commit fully and go completely underneath him. So you'd already be at that distance when you roll in and he swipes. You don't want to be in the middle because the beak does hook around and it has a lingering hitbox. Right here, he does quite a bit of damage again. Oh man, so yeah, the pace of this fight does end up being a little bit slower, but I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of it just to enjoy. And there's some crazy strafes that happen, like that one. His legs do miss me a little bit here and there, and we're almost finishing up right now. Let's see the victory. That was such a satisfying fight. Kalameet was easily one of the most fun fights to do on this entire run. He was more fun than Manus for sure. I'd say our Taurus is my second favorite in the DLC, and Sanctuary Guardian doesn't count. Too easy. Back to Gwyndolin. Is anything going to change this time? Well, I did learn on Beta Chaos you can punch to move faster, even if I do have my heavy set up with the weapon, because it does follow the rules still. There's no requirement for me to have off-slot weapons to make the number of the equip load the max. It just has to actually be the heaviest in-slot items that are on the character that are in use, and because I went in the fight with the hammer and then switched it after, this is a nice workaround. I think it makes a lot of sense, but truthfully, when I actually did get the kill on him, this was pretty paramount. It was pretty important to be able to punch the air to move faster. And you'll see that I decided that the weapon setup wasn't good enough with Smough's hammer at all. And there's a little bit of a workaround here where I do go into a mode where I'm literally switching on a second weapon to have not only Smough's hammer equipped because it is the heaviest in slot, but also to have the dragon sword that we got from the Everlasting Dragon equipped too, because as you remember, it does have a special attack. Now, it took me a long time to realize that that was actually going to be one of the only ways we could win this. And the fact that 20 flasks is just barely enough to get by, but I'm going to leave you guys with what I think is one of the craziest Gwyndolin fights I've ever done in my life, and also just kind of stupid at the same time. It wasn't super fun, but at least we had something in the set of tools to use that actually connects, because Smough's hammer was not going to make it. But by the time I walk up to him, he fades away. So right here you can see we got the dragon sword on. I'm strafing the arrows very carefully when we're in range, and I can attack him from around this pillar right here, and he will not fade away right away. Beautiful. We only have to repeat that a handful of times and we win, and still be able to live to survive through the amount of flask chugs and, you know, maybe somehow pop humanities, but that's not likely either. So enjoy the rest of Gwyndolin. It's going to be a little bit of a long haul. Yeah, glad we finally figured it out. It took me probably over an hour of fighting him to get to this realization.
swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
Oh, I already have the eternal curse, my man. I literally am over encumbered. You cannot get more cursed than that. Okay, you could be Curse Bro. Curse Bro's more cursed than this, but Curse Bro still is a little bit more of an underdog. This character was like the all-time legend of old that is kind of just doing a victory lap. And as Gwyndolin goes down permanently, we can pop some more souls, including his own, to disgrace his legacy in his own tomb, leveling strength even more and getting ready for Gwyn. Gwyn round 1, Flamestone played on. Let's see how this goes. Again, no parries. Block in the first swing seems okay. And again, we can one-hand swing to go from block into an attack super quick. We're gonna stay locked the whole time on him to be centered. I'm trying to strafe around him to make him lose track of me for a second or two. Didn't work too well though. I actually got grabbed by him, and it reminds me of Soul of Cinder because when he grabs you and, you know, he does the same follow-up and everything, it's pretty funny. Grabbed again on round 2, but this time I survived by a little bit, and block, and I chug. Does that input read backhand that looks really cool, probably one of his coolest looking attacks he has actually. And yeah, we're just basically making him input read by chugging because that's what the game makes him do. And if you get quick swipes, this is kind of bad RNG, but even the double hand does hit pretty hard. So the rhythm didn't work out on that one. Another round, and I'm using Havel's ability on the shield to get even more stability, poise, whatever it does. It gives you a bonus basically. I think it makes it just even more durable. I'm using repair powder because I want to see if I can repair it while I'm in the fight. I think it actually has to be in your main hand and not the shield hand or left to be repaired. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I decided it would be worth using Havel's shield special ability. It does have one. I didn't talk about that the entire time I played the game until now, and I'm sure you guys are probably wondering why I didn't try it out. It is a special weapon, or you could say shield, whatever you want to call it. You'll see Havel do it sometimes himself while you're fighting him, but this was the Gwyn attempt where things were cooking hardcore, maximum boil. Go to the stalagmites to see if I have a likelihood of trying to hit him through the little mounds on the ground, which is something I used to do way back in the day when I would run Soul Level 1 quite often. He does miss me a little bit with the height of this hill right here that I'm knocking him onto, so this is a huge advantage right here as well. I'm chugging through everything that he's doing, replacing the equivalent amount of health with what he's taking almost perfectly. And then he goes for kicks, which is great RNG for healing because I space the kicks. They're not actually interrupting me at all. There's some weird phantom swings he does where if you're at the hilt range, you'll notice on some runs I've done. And actually, when I was teaching my buddy how to do a hitless run on this game, he had a swing on the attempt of his PB that was the last one before it actually worked, where Gwyn just swung through his body, close range. Very common thing. And yet with that thrust, but trading shortly after, we finally get Gwyn. I wasn't on him super long, but it did take a handful of attempts, and I showed you some of the best ones. Victory spins forever. And a little bit of I guess, I don't even know what you call this. This is trying to roll. Guys, I can't believe that we actually did this. That was Dark Souls 1, only leveling strength with the heaviest possible character. This was like one of the most interesting things I've seen on the game, so it doesn't even matter if I did this or someone else did. You could probably tell just from like me like kind of reading back the notes and commentating, whatever. It's like, it was really cool. I highly recommend you guys try this. You don't have to beat it, just try it just to see how it is. It's so weird. I wish there was more weird things you could do like this, but sadly there's not. And you have to assume that I'm gonna try this again on other games where it's applicable. So let me know what game you want me to try this on next with a similar setup. We'll bring Massive back. Make sure you're subscribed and notified to not miss any future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
My lord, bless thy safe return. Let Carth and Frank serve your highness. We are here to serve your highness.